Right, right. I mean, you think about all those commercials doing like mouthwash and gum that helps your breath and whatnot, like the bad breath, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like my understanding is the bad breath actually comes from gum disease. There's like bacteria sort of like in your
Very,
mouth that are,
very common source. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So so let's dive in on gum disease because that's
Sure.
a really big one for you. Um, what can you define for me, like what exactly is gum disease, or and how do you help solve it?
Sure. So gum disease, like many things that we're discovering now, is primarily in the beginning phase is a bacterial infection. Okay, so you think about, you know, without going, how do I do this without going too deep to where we go into this too far of a conversation? Um, Generally speaking, our mindset of our group mind, of our culture, says it comes to us from Louis Pasteur, right, the father of microbiology. So Pasteur is what we now have pasteurization for, and the whole vaccine theory and stuff like that all comes out of the Pasteur model, okay,
Hmm.
which is called the germ theory model. Okay, now what's important to understand is it's not the truth, it's just a model. It's like I showed you earlier. This is not a mouth. This is a
No.
model of a mouth, right?
Yeah.
There's a big
Yeah.
difference, and it's an important distinction to make because it seems like in this day and age right now with what's going on and last year and all, and I'm not even going to name that not to be named issue,
Yeah.
that the world has taken a nightmare pill in regards to addressing things from a germ theory strategy
Yeah.
rather than another theory. Okay, now a lot of people don't know this story, that there's a contemporary to Louis Pasteur, a guy named Antoine Béchamp, who was another microbiologist. And Béchamp came up with a theory that he called the cellular theory or the terrain theory. They're both French. It was like terroir theory. I don't know how to say it in French, but
Yeah, they use the same word to talk about like the ground that grapes grow in and how that
exactly,
creates a different kind of grape. Yeah, I can't
exactly.
pronounce it either.
Yeah. So the terrain theory says that, okay, microbes exist, but rather than taking the stance that Louis Pasteur taught and the whole idea of germ theory, which is we're basically helpless victims. If some germ, some virus or bacteria blows our way, then we're basically victims and we're going to get hit by it. Um, Rather than that, what Béchamp said was, well, okay, it's true that microbes exist, but the terrain of what we would now call the microbiomes, the multiple microbiomes in and on our bodies, the terrain is of primary significance when navigating the path to wellness. Okay, so it's not about preventing disease, it's about creating wellness and creating vitality in one's immune system. Because as we now know from the innate immune system, as the host immune system becomes robust and vital, it can be like, boom, like, no, you have no place here, virus, you have no place here, bacteria. Okay, now
Hmm.
that said, okay, back to your question about gum disease. Gum disease in its inception is a communicable disease. Okay, we pick it up from, I
Yep.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. I get it, but I'm just like, whew, like, yep.
bear with us here. So
I will.
we call it the three Ps, okay, parents, partners, and pets. These are the
Yep.
three, what we call vectors of contamination or routes that somebody gets these periodontal pathogens or gum disease pathogens in their mouth to start with. Parents, obviously, sharing a spoon with a child. I wrote a blog post about this, I don't know, a couple of years ago. I was on a flight, saw a dad with the child's pacifier in his mouth, and then
Cleaning it.
took it
Cleaning
and
it. Yeah. That's like, oh, I'm gonna clean it for you. Here you
yeah.
go.
And
I did that.
there's an argument for that from the standpoint of if you have a healthy mouth, you are then helping to inoculate that child's mouth. That makes sense. But, and it's a big but in this case, if the sad statistic stands true and most of us are carrying these microbes that are implicated with gum disease, then we're actually inoculating our child's mouth with periodontal pathogens.
Ugh.
Okay, so
Yep.
it's not the end of the world. Parental guilt is a long road, honey. So don't don't harm
I
yourself
definitely
over
had to be
there.
good on it, but it's just sort of like,
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's
it's like, let it
parents.
go.
Yeah, let it go. That's parents. Then partners, obviously, we've again a lot of people have reached out to us through the years of saying like, my teeth were great until I got married, Well,
Mm.
then they got inoculated with other microbes. And then the third that is super common, and I just like sends chills down my spine, don't let a dog lick your kid in the mouth. Don't do it. It
Hmm.
looks really cute. You watch cute videos about it online, that's fine, but not your own child. It's a bad habit. I mean,
Well, because what do dogs do? They sniff other dogs' butts. They eat things off the ground all the time. They drink water I would never touch. They, I get heebie-jeebies having my dog on the couch. I'm working through it, right? And it's like maybe I shouldn't be working through it, but my partner's a pet lover. Anyway, that's a total tangent. But yeah, like the mouse to mouse with pets is like if we're wanting to keep if we believe in germ theory in any way, shape, or form, what a terrible idea,
right.
right?
Right. And it's not that germ theory is wrong because microbes do exist. So if we can have a good guardian at the door saying, you know, back in the day, stuff like that, allowing an animal to touch a child's mouth was totally taboo. Like, no,
Mm,
nobody in the village would allow that because you just don't. You don't do that. And they
right.
didn't know why, but they
Yeah.
understood empirically that that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, parents, partners, and pets. So that's what gets gum disease in a person's system. And then, the stress of modern life, nutritional deficiencies, you name it, allow a lack of awareness of what to do to stop it, allow
Yeah.
these bugs to make their inroads into a person's body. And unfortunately now, I think the stats are 65% of 15-year-olds have active gum disease.
That's too
Six-
many.
yeah. 65%. And I tell you, Elena, it's so easy to stop early on too. Teach your kids
Mm,
how to brush their teeth right, and they will never, ever have to deal with this if they really get it. Don't just teach them how to do it, teach them why so that they can
mm.
understand it and be like, oh, okay, I get it. Grandma has no teeth and I want to have teeth when I'm her age.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and absolutely, we can get into that when we get to sort of the later part. I will make
Yeah,
sure that we get through a demo of that in the member content
sounds good.
and share that with people.
So
Yeah.
that's really the three questions that you threw. I mean, gum disease, I could talk on that all day.
Yeah.
It eventually, there's huge correlation, and I would even go so far as to say that causal impact of the microbes in the mouth relating to all sorts of health issues from gum disease. Well, excuse me, gum disease provokes, or in my opinion, causes, or at least contributes to the cause of heart disease, cancer, arthritis, diabetes. Most recently, the research that I saw was Alzheimer's, low birth weight babies, preterm babies, um, stroke, uh, pretty much anything, we're autoimmune diseases, anything we're looking at, it's like, why? Okay, if we really
Hmm.
understand this, then we can get the connection. And if I can impart any idea to your listeners
Please.
and viewers here, here's the thing. There's a myth that's a lie in our culture that is very, very unhealthy. And the myth is this, that the mouth is not connected to the rest of the body. I mean, it's silly, obviously.
Hmm.
We know this intellectually, but then we use products in the mouth that you read a tube of toothpaste, there's a warning from the Poison Control Center there about
Yeah.
what's in the toothpaste. Now, hold on here. We put
Yeah.
something in our mouth. This has been proven. If you know homeopathic medicine at all, this has been proven. You put something in your mouth, it's absorbed. You don't have to swallow it. It's absorbed.
Yeah.
So
Through
why?
the mucus like cell membranes of our mouth,
Exactly.
right? There's like
Exactly.
highly porous.
Exactly. Yeah. And in some cases, faster than if we actually swallowed it, it gets into the bloodstream. So this is a really good example of this cultural disconnect that we have with our mouths to the rest of the body. So the mouth is connected to the body. That's silly for me to say it that way, but it's trying to beat home this point. And the mouth is the primary pathway of introducing new stuff into our bodies. Okay, so tremendously important if we think about that, because it's what we call the headwaters to the whole gastrointestinal system. It is the headwaters, the oral microbiome. If we don't care for that, everything suffers downstream.
because you're whatever's going on in your mouth, you're swallowing that along with your food. It's going through your esophagus, into your stomach, through your whole like ginormous intestinal tract, where it has a chance to proliferate and
Right.
grow and cause more issue. And what I'm hearing from you is that if we're addressing it in the mouth, we can do a whole lot of preventative sort of for the rest of the body.
Spot on. Exactly.
Great. Great. And so, I mean, we've talked a lot about the issue. So, and I know you have some really fabulous products, including the toothbrush and the toothpaste
Yeah.
and whatnot. So, can you talk to me a little bit about what you guys have done in terms of creating a solution to help with gum disease, to help with oral hygiene, and working with these pathogenic and
Sure.
problematic bacterias?
So going kind of harkening back to a comment I made earlier, our biggest challenge is to raise the bar of awareness. That's really what we're all about, is about educating people. Now we do have
Yep.
product solutions as well. And I'm going to kind of, I'll share with you here our business model, if you will. It goes something
Yeah.
like this. Hey, here's helpful information. If you find benefit from it, like, here's this brushing technique that actually has been proven to reduce the risk of gum disease that your dentist learned about, but it's not fancy and shiny because it's like from 100 years ago. And if you like this and you find benefit from it, then here's some products that we found help with as well. It might assist you as well. So that's our business model, is to provide helpful
Yeah.
information, like corresponding through groups like you here, and share information. And if it resonates for people, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay.
Yeah.
So what we've done is, at first we really set our target on gum disease and said, what can we do about this?
Mm-hmm.
So we created a blend of essential oils. Now we're super proud of this, that we're the only toothpaste alternative on the market that is certified organic, 100% certified organic ingredients.
Wonderful.
The only one.
Wonderful.
So that's important to us, just because we strive to live a beyond organic lifestyle. So we really targeted this from the standpoint of, what can we do to assist the body in disrupting and disorganizing these periodontal pathogens without harming the oral microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've come up with. And thankfully, we've been at it for a long time, and we have happy customers all over the world that sing our praises, and dentists scratching their heads saying, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, your website is full of testimonials like that, just like,
yeah,
of people's stories. They go back to their dentist goes like, what are you doing? Because the thing was there and now it's not. And that's impossible from my mindset, right? But people are literally having, challenges reverse through using these products.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so much more for you over in the Joygasmic Life membership. Become a bulletproof mom with us. Learn the tips and tricks and skills you need to recover from your postpartum mental health journey, and learn the tools of Joygasmic alchemy so you can have the kind of birth you've been dreaming of.